The date is June 21, 2023. Prime Minister Narendra Modi sets off for his first ever official state visit to the United States, making him only the third Indian leader to have received this privilege. The state visit would mark its huge significance amid global and geopolitical turmoils. This visit would be closely monitored by several countries, especially Russia.
India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi in the U.S. for his first state visit, and he's already been very busy. Here's the video.
India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi heads to the United States this week for a high-level state visit, which will include...
Now, we all are aware that the Indian Prime Minister, in the month of June this year, paid an official state visit to the United States, which is the highest level of diplomatic protocol the US accords to a visiting leader. During the visit, there were several topics that were discussed, and a wide array of topics which were agreed upon. These agreements range from dimensions to dimensions, from technology, defense, to mutual cooperation for sustainable development, and the Indo-Pacific region. Now, from this geopolitical development, one can easily discern that India is getting more and more aligned with the US. In addition to this, one can also wonder about what is Russia's take about all this. So for this to understand, the topic is mainly divided into three domains, which are technological domain, defense partnership, and security issues. Now, talking about the first domain, the technological domain, as we all know that India aspires to become a global superpower. To achieve the status of global superpower, advancements in technology is going to play a massive role. And there is no denying to the fact that the US has an edge over Russia in terms of technology. Russia lost her status of global superpower following her disintegration back in the year 1991, along with her charms over the top-notch technology. So, for now, it is the US that serves our need for the necessary advancements in the technological field. During the state visit, the two countries comprehensively discussed and agreed upon several aspects in the technological domain, which are strengthening the semiconductor supply chain. We all know that the world is at growing unease when it comes to the semiconductors, as semiconductors are used in most of the appliances we use today, and the 60% of the supply is based from Taiwan, which is amid confrontation with China. Now this grows the concern over the disruption in the global supply chain of semiconductors. For this, the US and India are determined to diversify and strengthen the supply chain of semiconductors. To even do so, the Indian government announced a package and aid of $10 billion to strengthen India's hold on the production of semiconductors and to make it a global hub for production of semiconductors. Along with this, the space organizations of both the countries are aiming at collaborating with each other in space, NASA and ISRO, with India signing the Artemis Accord, which is also signed by the other 26 countries who are committed to achieve a sustainable and robust cooperation to Moon, Mars and beyond. Under this, NASA will provide advanced training to ISRO astronauts to conduct further space missions. Along with this, both countries are also partners in an initiative called ICET, Initiative on Critical and Emerging Technologies. Now, this initiative is aimed at the two countries to coordinate on science and technological research. Now, this is no secret that the Indian military arsenal is heavily concentrated with Soviet and Russian-made weapons. They amount to total 70% of India's arsenal. Recently, India showed its interest to diversify its arsenal following some delays from the Russian side in fulfilling the demands of the Indian military. These delays include the delay in the delivery of the S-400 missile defense system and some Air Force jets spare parts. This delay is caused due to the unfortunate entanglement of Russia into the Ukraine war. Now, this opportunity was capitalized by the US. It proposed the joint production of the General Electric's F414 jet engines for the HAL Tejas Mark II in India with over 80% of technological transfer. Now this was a landmark agreement, given the fact that India, despite its efforts for decades, is unable to produce its own jet engine. And also the procurement of the General Atomics MQ-9B Predator drones, 12 for the Navy, 9 for the Air Force, and 9 for the Army. The drone is capable of conducting deep territorial airstrikes and can be used for reconnaissance. India shares one of the most, if not the most, hostile borders with two nuclear armed nations, China and Pakistan. Now, unfortunately, both pose a direct threat to the sovereignty and territorial integrity of India. China, on the other hand, poses a threat on a much larger extent as compared to Pakistan. Pakistan is a proxy of China. China will most probably use Pakistan to wage a two-front war on India. Now, on China, the interests of India and the US align, given the fact that China poses a direct threat to the US hegemony. US counts on India to tame China. And India knows the fact that Russia will stay neutral if, hypothetically speaking, there is a conflict between India and China, given the no-limit friendship between Russia and China. So for this situation, India counts on the US. So for security reasons, India and US share a kind of symbiotic relationship, a sort of give and take relationship. With these developments, I do not see that India seeks to replace Russia. Rather, she is trying new areas to satisfy her national interests, which is also a strong fundamental of our recent foreign policy. In geopolitics, there are no permanent friends and no permanent enemies, but permanent national interests. Thank you and Jai Hind.